Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. So it's fight week for Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders, and Saunders is going to be taking on an epic task in this contest. He is undefeated, so therefore no one has been able to stop him just yet. So he's backed up everything he said he would do in the boxing ring, and perhaps that gives him a little bit more confidence going in. I mean, he's going to be supremely confident anyway, but this is a big hurdle for him to overcome. It is not going to be easy. Canelo does have a tough opposition in front of him as well, because of the fact that we just stated as well, because Billy Joe Saunders hasn't been beat, so he doesn't know how to lose. Now, an undefeated record does not mean everything. As long as you have fought top opponents, it doesn't really matter. If you are a seasoned professional at world level, then they have a chance. But Billy Joe Saunders is jumping to a whole new level. This is elite level, and Canelo has been competing there for a number of years. Billy Joe Saunders is jumping to that level. Now, Billy Joe Saunders in this contest, obviously, he is the one who is apparently the pure boxer to give Canelo the problems. And we've seen him struggle with pure boxers in the past, like Floyd Mayweather and Lara. But is Billy Joe Saunders on that level of a Lara, of a Floyd Mayweather? I guess we will only find out on fight night. It is going to be a situation where he can cause Canelo problems, but can he do it for 12 rounds? That is the big thing, because at 160, he didn't always have the best gas tank. At 168, he has extra weight on him that will make it a little bit more difficult. So I'm wondering if Billy Joe Saunders has the gas tank to do it for 12 rounds if he needs to. I don't really see him stopping Canelo, so he must do it for 12 rounds. And it must be convincing to get the decision. And I don't really expect Billy Joe Saunders to just go on the back foot and dance around the ring, because he's going to be expending a lot of energy by doing that, and Canelo will come on strong and build into the fight. So as Billy Joe Saunders starts to wear out, that is when Canelo will turn it on, and he doesn't want that to happen. So I'm not entirely convinced that Billy Joe Saunders is just going to go on the back foot. He will be on the back foot, but not necessarily dancing around the ring and expending too much energy. Also, he doesn't want to give Canelo too much space to move into, because Canelo likes that as well, and then Canelo can dictate the distance and the pace of the fight. That's what he done against Callum Smith. He was able to do what he wanted really, and the fight was contested on his terms. That is also something that Billy Joe Saunders won't want to happen. He doesn't want the fight contested on Canelo's terms. I mean, if he allows that to happen, Canelo is in his zone. And we did see that against the likes of Callum Smith. Now, interestingly enough, against Sergey Kovalev, there were problems caused by Kovalev in that fight for Canelo. Canelo even said, moving up to light heavyweight represented more difficulties than he had previously expected. That was likely why he didn't then jump to cruiserweight, because let's remember, he is a smaller guy anyway, and it's incredible how he can jump from a junior middleweight to a light heavyweight, but still he was able to do it. Against Sergey Kovalev, when he was on the front foot, he was in control, and the jab of Sergey Kovalev was a good weapon, but wasn't something that caught Canelo continuously. When Canelo decided to go on the back foot for a moment in the fight, I can't remember what round it was, but it didn't last long. He did decide to go backwards. That was when it looked like he almost ran out of ideas, perhaps was looking for something, some kind of opening with Kovalev. There was just one moment in that fight where Canelo was perhaps just having a look at Sergey Kovalev, because he did turn it on after that, but still, I don't know if Billy Joe Saunders can pin him back, whether he can get him to go backwards, or whether he is able to push him back. I'm not sure that Billy Joe Saunders has the power to trouble him and make him want to do that. He does have good variation to his punches, so it is possible he could push him back slightly, but if he starts playing that game with Canelo, that is a game that Canelo will want to play. He needs a lot more power than he possesses to be able to do that, and I don't think Billy Joe Saunders has the power anywhere near a Danny Jacobs or a Sergey Kovalev, so that could be a difficulty, gaining the respect of Canelo. But then again, the fighters who have caused Canelo big problems haven't necessarily been the biggest of punches. I mean, Golovkin gave him problems, and in the opinion of many, did win at least one of those fights, but still, that's another thing entirely. He did have power and caused Canelo problems, but other fighters in the past, like Lara, and Floyd Mayweather didn't have huge one-punch power that could bother Canelo, but still, they came close to beating him. In the case of Floyd Mayweather, he did beat him, and I don't think any of us would have been surprised if Lara got the decision against Canelo. But the key for those two fighters was their footwork and their movement and their positioning. That was extremely important to their success in their fight with Canelo for both Floyd and for Erislandy Lara. Their footwork was brilliant and got them into range and carried them out of range so that they were able to create angles and land certain punches that could trouble Canelo. That was very important because, let's be real, it's going to be difficult to stop someone like Canelo, especially given he's taken the power of the likes of Danny Jacob, Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev. So you wouldn't imagine that anyone around that super middleweight division would have the power to stop him. I mean, maybe David Benavidez, but still, the chin that he has shown proves that he is able to stand up to most of the power in that division. So therefore, it is going to require something different and a different set of skills to be able to beat him. Does Billy Joe Saunders have that or not? I guess we will find out on May 8th. But my guess is Billy Joe Saunders will cause him a lot of problems. Whether he is able to beat him is another thing entirely. I think that this will be a closer fight than some maybe believe, those who believe that it's going to be a landslide for Canelo. I think that Billy Joe Saunders will ask questions of Canelo, and it will be an entertaining fight for however long it lasts. I do believe that the footwork will be integral to any success that Billy Joe Saunders has. I think that that is the one thing we can see with Canelo. He's got great positioning, and everything else, I mean, he's like an 8, 9 out of 10 across the board, which is much better than being a 10 out of 10 in one department than like a 4 or 5 in another. He is a well-rounded boxer, but he doesn't have the fastest of feet, and that is why he does struggle often with pure boxers who move, like a Floyd Mayweather, like an Erislandy Lara. So in this fight, if Billy Joe Saunders is able to make that count, then he can give himself a lot more of a chance. The only problem is it is at 168 as opposed to 160. Billy Joe Saunders' optimum weight, I would say, is 160. I mean, even for Canelo, perhaps is 160, but they are both fighting in 168. It just happens to be in the super middleweight division. That benefits Canelo more than it does Billy Joe Saunders, because there is the possibility that that extra weight, even be it 8 pounds, I mean, we don't know what kind of weight he's going to come in at on fight night. They will both be making 168, but they will rehydrate. Billy Joe Saunders wouldn't want to be too much heavier than 168. I mean, he's always heavier than 160 anyway, but he dehydrates down to make the weight. Going up to 168, I wouldn't imagine he'd want to be too much heavier, although in some of his pictures he does look quite thick and perhaps a little bit heavier than he was at 160, which won't help his mobility all that much, and I do believe that that could be a key to victory for Billy Joe Saunders. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.